Have you ever been lying in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, replaying a conversation from years ago, and suddenly your brain goes, wait, why did I say that? Why did they react like that? What did that moment actually mean? Or you're in a room full of people, everyone has already moved on to the next topic, and you're still mentally stuck on one sentence someone said 10 minutes ago, trying to decode the tone, the intent, the subtext behind it, and you start wondering why your mind never shuts off. Why you notice things other people seem completely unaware of. Why everything feels deeper to you, heavier, more complex. If that feels familiar, there's a reason for it. Here's the thing. Most people get wrong about deep thinkers. They assume deep thinkers are just overthinkers, anxious, insecure, too much in their head. But deep thinking is not the same thing as overthinking, and that distinction matters more than people realize. Overthinking is repetitive. It loops. It's driven by fear and uncertainty. Deep thinking is exploratory. It's curiosity-driven. It's about meaning, patterns, and understanding how things connect beneath the surface. Psychologists actually separate these two processes. One is called rumination, which is linked to anxiety and depression. The other is reflective thinking, which is associated with higher emotional intelligence, creativity, and insight. So when someone tells you think too much, what they usually mean is that you think deeper than they do, and that makes them uncomfortable. Deep thinkers don't skim life. They process it vertically, not horizontally. Most people experience events and immediately move on. What happened? What's next? What do I need to do right now? Deep thinkers ask different questions. Why did that happen? What does that say about that person? What pattern does this fit into? What does this mean long-term? This isn't a personality quirk. It's neurological. Brain imaging studies show that people who naturally think deeply have higher activity in the default mode network, the part of the brain responsible for self-reflection, memory integration, and meaning-making. Your brain is constantly connecting dots that other people don't even notice exist. That's why subtle things hit you harder. A pause before someone responds. A shift in tone. A sentence that feels slightly off. Your brain flags it immediately, even if you don't consciously know why. And now you might be thinking, okay, if this is such a strength, why does it feel exhausting? Because deep thinking doesn't stop at thoughts. It amplifies emotion. People who process information deeply also tend to feel more deeply. Not louder emotions, deeper ones. You don't just feel sad, happy, or hurt. You analyze why you feel that way while you're feeling it. Psychologist Elaine Aron, who studied high sensitivity, found that deep processors experience stronger emotional responses even when they appear calm on the outside. You absorb emotional information instead of deflecting it. That means you don't just hear words. You feel intention. You don't just witness pain. You internalize it. You don't just experience moments. You carry them. This is why deep thinkers often feel emotionally drained without knowing why. It's not that you're weak. It's that your nervous system is doing more work than most people's. This also explains why small talk feels so exhausting. Small talk is repetitive, predictable, and surface level. Weather, work, safe opinions, familiar scripts. For a deep thinker, that kind of conversation doesn't stimulate the mind or nourish connection. It feels like running in place. Deep thinkers crave meaning, insight, honesty, new perspectives, conversations that actually go somewhere. Research from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who engage in deeper conversations report significantly higher levels of happiness and connection than those who stick to small talk. So when you feel bored or disconnected in shallow conversations, it's not arrogance, it's misalignment. You're wired for depth, not repetition. And here's something most people don't talk about. Deep thinkers are often lonely, even when they're surrounded by people. Not because they don't have friends, not because they're antisocial, but because they don't feel seen. People might enjoy your presence, your reliability, your humor. But very few people actually understand how much is happening inside your head at all times. Carl Jung believed that highly introspective individuals often feel isolated because their inner world is richer than their external environment. When there's no place to express that depth, it turns inward. This doesn't mean you're better than others. It means you're different. And difference without understanding becomes isolation. Another common misconception is that deep thinkers are unambitious or unmotivated. In reality, deep thinkers are often less motivated by status, popularity, or external validation. They're driven by meaning. You might feel empty chasing goals everyone else wants. You might question life paths that others accept without thinking. You might struggle in environments that feel meaningless, even if they look successful from the outside. Psychologists call this intrinsic motivation. Deep thinkers need purpose to function at their best. If something doesn't align with your values or sense of meaning, motivation collapses. But when something does matter to you, you become relentless. This is where the hidden strengths come in. Deep thinkers tend to excel at long-term planning, ethical reasoning, emotional understanding, and creative problem-solving. You don't just react to situations. You integrate them. You learn from them. You adapt. Studies on deliberate cognition show that deep thinkers are better at recognizing patterns over time, avoiding impulsive decisions, and learning from past mistakes. You don't just live experiences. You extract lessons from them. But there is a danger zone. Depth without direction becomes a trap. Deep thinkers are especially vulnerable to analysis paralysis, seeing too many possibilities, too many outcomes, too many interpretations, and that can freeze you in place. Your mind can turn against you if there's no structure. Insight without action decays into anxiety. Awareness without boundaries becomes overwhelm. So here's what actually helps. First, limit mental loops. If you've already thought about something deeply, ask yourself one simple question. What action does this insight lead to? If there is no action, stop feeding it. Second, externalize your thinking. Write it down. Journal. Speak it out loud. Deep thinkers need output, not endless input. Third, find depth-compatible people. You don't need many. One or two people who can meet you at your level changes everything. Fourth, ground your mind through your body. Movement, routines, nature. A deep mind needs a grounded body to stay balanced. And finally, reframe sensitivity as a skill. Your awareness is not a weakness. It's untrained power. The world needs deep thinkers, people who question assumptions, who see long-term consequences, who understand emotional nuance, who refuse shallow answers. Your job is not to become less deep. Your job is to become directed, grounded, and confident in how you're wired. Depth is not a flaw, it's a responsibility. And once you learn how to carry it, it becomes one of the strongest advantages you can have. If this helped you understand yourself a little better, subscribe to Psychology of Everyday People for more videos that explain real human behavior in a way that actually makes sense. And if you're a deep thinker, let me know in the comments what resonated most with you.